Hello everyone, and welcome to the last and final news issue of the year. The biggest school-wide event lately? That's right, the science fair. In Living Wisdom School, all 4th graders and up make each of their own science fair projects, and the 2nd and 3rd graders made a group project. Same as always, this year there were many different kinds of projects in the field of physics.
So my science fair project was called the Law of Attraction.
My question is, how does the depth of water relate to the speed of a wave?
So my project was what happens to a light bulb when you put it into the microwave.
So my project this year is which soil type is the most resistant to liquefaction during an earthquake.
So for my science fair project, which is called Cool a Soda, I was trying to figure out the fastest way to cool a soda.
So my question was, can you measure the speed of light using a microwave oven, egg whites, and a ruler?
And also Devin's hoverboard, which was a lot of fun, but unfortunately I didn't record a video for it. Chemistry?
So basically, my project is trying to figure out which antifungal agent works best in killing yeast.
So I wanted to see if the increase in soil concentration would increase the water turbidity. And I wanted to see if I could create my own homemade turbidimeter. I wanted to see how you could change the color of fire. And I managed to do that with these chemicals. And I found out that every chemical burning has a specific color, and that if you have a spectrometer and you can measure the color, you can tell exactly what chemical is burning.
Biology?
It's Love Dev Heart, and it's by Rich Cameron, which is me. So my science fair project is about the heartbeat of the sea.
So my question is, which human drink will be the most beneficial for a plant?
So, hi, I'm Reba, and my project is about testing the 5-second rule.
My project was to test if gravity is the reason why roots tend to grow down.
Engineering and technology?
I programmed a robot based on a self-driving car.
I tested 4 different booms on this catapult and saw which one did the best. And I also tested 4 different projectiles and I saw which one threw the farthest.
So it's pretty much just to see if weight affects a drone's battery life.
Social science?
Project is called Memory on Age, and my purpose of my project is I wanted to see, depending on how old you are, how much more you can remember.
So my question was if people are more motivated by rewards or punishments.
My hypothesis. People that consider themselves to be right-handed will tend to use their right side when doing activities with their hand, foot, eye, and ear.
And even music and arts.
I wanted to do something that had to do with modern events. And so lately, people have been taking models and they Photoshop their pictures to make them more, attractive.
So a harmonic is this sound right here. You hear. Why it happens is because the overtone and the fundamental note are there, but why you want to move the fundamental note to the side and bring the overtone out by dampening it with your finger.
A lot of you probably know about the scientific method. One of the steps is hypothesis. It is when you make an educated guess trying to answer your question. I noticed a handful of science fair projects this year that do not have a right hypothesis.
So my question was, when you were older or younger, could you remember stuff more? So my hypothesis was, I think when you're children, you're still getting smarter and your brain is still developing, so you don't remember that much. And when you're an adult, you remember stuff more because you have learned more. But when you are old, you are losing your memory. So actually my hypothesis was wrong, and the real answer was it doesn't matter actually how old you are.
And my hypothesis was that the higher watt light bulbs won't light. It turns out that my hypothesis was actually incorrect, and the higher watt light bulbs lit up more than the lower watt light bulbs.
So my hypothesis was that out of the 3 soils that I had, a clay, barrier, garden soil, and sandy soil, that the sandy soil would retain more water. When I got my results, I found out that my hypothesis was incorrect.
Somehow, I always felt like having a wrong hypothesis is not a great situation I want to be in. Your hypothesis is your guess a gut feeling about a topic. But when you prove your intuition is wrong, you had no idea, and most people might be surprised as well. So you ended up adding some new knowledge to the world. Now you might be relieved that we could handle a little bit of imperfection in the hypothesis step, but not so fast. The most frustrating thing about science is coming up. I just learned this from Nina, who's in our 8th grade graduation class.
And so based on these results, my results were inconclusive because of this crack in the cylinder.
Really? To my surprise, it turns out that many real-world science problems ended up without a conclusion or inconclusive. There could be many reasons for it. For example, your testing materials or equipment broke, like in Nina's case. Your testing environment is not ideal. Or when you're taking on a project, you discover that we don't have the technology or the knowledge available to solve the problem. Or that's the nature of science. All your processes build steps towards finding the final solution. If you fail this time, it only means you have room to improve, and you're getting closer to the real solution next time. Remember what Edison says? I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That's a great example of growth mindset, according to Ram Dass, our 4th and 5th grade language arts teacher. Ever since I made the previous news issue with Gianni on global warming, I started to be very interested in environment-related topics. Here are the 2 interesting environmental projects from this science fair. The first project was by Sophia from 7th grade.
My science fair project is about what type of renewable energy would be better in Palo Alto. I tested a solar panel and a wind turbine that I made myself. The results was that the solar panel worked a lot better than the wind turbine, which I thought it would, but I was surprised how much better it did.
The second environmental related science project was by Ashani from 5th grade.
There was one, I think it was Ashani's, who was talking about climate. And I love that because there's so much dialogue about people thinking that climate change isn't real.
Ishani's project perfectly tackles that problem. She actually uses Python to show the temperature change on the globe for the past decades. My science fair project provided a few details of how we can save our own carbon footprint in our daily lives. I also further compared which way will help the most. I know 2 parents that disagree with the results of my science fair project. They both raised the questions about my assumptions, such as the weight of cows and the transportation of beef adding to carbon generation. My science fair project needs more research to it, but for now, I'm happy because it got people thinking about their personal contribution to the climate change problem. I think my science fair project was great, and I wanted a lot of parents to come and visit my science board, and indeed I got many visitors. But one thing I saw flipped the whole universe, and no more visitors, please! Guess what I saw? I hope that next year, under the support of the yummy ice cream, everyone can make even better science fair projects and win the science awards from Doug. Do you still remember the 3 valuable lessons that we learned? See you next year. Basically.
2.5 meters from 2.5 centimeters.
Light bulb, the filament,
And they were and since the CD
1/2 cups a day.
Amplifies soft soils amplify ground shaking. During an earthquake, the soil, because during an earthquake the ground shakes.
So putting more soil or dirt or something inside the cube.
That same piece, that same place you dropped it. Less food, less dirt than 30 seconds, and for 5